Hello everyone! Today let's talk about the IELTS reading test. Many students in Bangladesh find this part very difficult. You have to answer 40 questions in only 60 minutes. This means you have very little time for each question. The passages are long and can be about many different topics like science, history, or culture. The main challenge is not just understanding English, but managing your time well. If you spend too much time reading every single word, you will not be able to finish the test. This is a very common problem, but do not worry. There are special skills that can help you succeed, and we will talk about them today. The key to doing well in the IELTS reading test is to work smart, not just hard. Reading every word slowly is not a good strategy here. The test is designed to check if you can find specific information quickly and understand the main ideas of a text without reading it completely. Think of it like a race against the clock. You need the right tools to win this race. The most important tools are two reading techniques called skimming and scanning. These skills will help you save a lot of time and find the correct answers more easily. They are your secret weapons for getting a high band score. So what are these secret weapons? Skimming is like taking a quick look at a newspaper to see what the main news is. You're not reading every story, just the headlines to get a general idea. Scanning is different. It is like looking for your friend's name on a long list of names. You're not reading the whole list. You are just searching for one specific piece of information. Both skills are very important for the IELTS reading test. Using them together will make you a much more effective and confident test taker. It's all about changing how you approach reading for this specific exam. For many Bangladeshi students, the habit is to read very carefully from the first word to the last. This is a good habit for reading a storybook or a novel, but it is a bad habit for the IELTS test. You must change this habit. You need to train yourself to read for a purpose. Sometimes your purpose is to get the general meaning, and other times it is to find a specific name, date, or number. Learning to switch between these purposes is the first step towards mastering the reading section. In the next sections, we will explore exactly how you can build and use these skills to your advantage. Let's talk about skimming first. Skimming is the skill of reading very fast to understand the main idea or the general topic of a passage. When you skim, you are not trying to understand every detail or every word. You are just trying to get a big picture view of the text. What is this passage about? What is the writer's main point? Answering these questions quickly is the goal of skimming. It is the first thing you should do when you see a new reading passage. It helps you create a mental map of the text, so you know where to look for answers later. This is a crucial first step. So, how do you skim effectively? First, read the title and any headings or subheadings. These give you the most important clues about the topic. After that, read the first paragraph completely. The first paragraph usually introduces the main idea of the entire passage. Then read only the first sentence of every other paragraph. This first sentence, often called the topic sentence, usually tells you what that specific paragraph is about. Finally, read the entire last paragraph. The last paragraph often summarizes the main points or gives a conclusion. This process should only take you about 2 to 3 minutes for one passage. Let's think of an example. Imagine the passage is about the migration of birds. By skimming, you would read the title. Then you would read the first paragraph, which might explain what bird migration is. For the next paragraphs, you would just read the first sentences like, one major reason for migration is the search for food, or birds use the Earth's magnetic field to navigate. This tells you that the passage discusses reasons for migration and navigation methods. You don't need to know all the details yet. You just need to know that paragraph 2 is about food and paragraph 3 is about navigation. Why is this so useful? Skimming saves you a huge amount of time. Instead of spending 10 minutes reading the whole passage carefully, you spend only 2 to 3 minutes to understand its structure and main ideas. When you later look at the questions, you will have a good idea of where to find the answer. For example, if a question asks about how birds find their way, you will remember the paragraph that started with the sentence about navigation. This way, you don't have to search the entire text. You can go directly to the correct part of the passage, which is a massive advantage when the clock is ticking. Now, let's move on to our second powerful skill, scanning. Scanning is different from skimming. While skimming is for getting a general idea, scanning is for finding specific pieces of information. This is what you do after you have read a question and you know exactly what you're looking for. You might be looking for a name, a date, a number, a percentage, or a specific keyword from the question. When you scan, your eyes move very quickly over the text, ignoring everything else until you find that specific word or number. It is like using the find function on a computer. The process of scanning is quite simple, but needs practice. First, read the question very carefully and identify the keywords. For example, if the question is, in what year did the construction of the Padma Bridge begin? Your keywords are construction, Padma Bridge, and begin. You are looking for a year, which is a number. Now you take these keywords and let your eyes fly across the passage. You are not reading sentences. You are just looking for those words or a number that looks like a year. Your brain should be focused only on spotting that specific information, nothing else. Let's practice the technique. To practice scanning, you can use any English text, like a newspaper article or a page from a book. Give yourself a task. For example, find the word government in the article. Then time yourself to see how quickly you can find it, or try to find all the numbers on the page. As you practice, your eyes will get better at picking out specific information from a sea of words. Another great tip is to use your finger or a pen to guide your eyes. Move your finger quickly down the page as you scan. This helps keep your eyes moving and prevents you from accidentally starting to read sentences. Scanning is incredibly important for question types like true/false/not given, matching information, and sentence completion. For these questions, you need to locate very specific details to see if they match the information in the question. Without scanning, you would have to reread large parts of the text for every question, which would waste precious time. By mastering scanning, you can find the exact sentence you need in just a few seconds. This allows you more time to think about the answer and decide if it is true, false, or not given, which is often the trickiest part. Knowing about skimming and scanning is good, but you must practice them every day to become good at them. Reading theory is not enough. You need to apply these skills. Find IELTS practice tests online or in books. When you do a practice test, time yourself strictly. For the first 2 to 3 minutes of each passage, only skim. Then, for each question, identify the keywords and scan the passage to find the answer. At first it might feel strange and you might be slow, but with daily practice it will become a natural habit. Consistency is the key to success in IELTS. One of the biggest mistakes students in Bangladesh make is panicking. When they see a long passage with many difficult words, they get scared. This panic makes them forget all their strategies. Remember, you do not need to understand every word to get a high score. If you see a word you don't know, do not stop. Try to guess its meaning from the words around it, or simply ignore it if it doesn't seem important for the question you are answering. Another common mistake is reading the entire passage first before even looking at the questions. This wastes a lot of time. Always skim first, then read the questions, and then scan for the answers. To avoid these mistakes, build your confidence through practice. The more you practice skimming and scanning, the more you will trust these skills. You will see that you can find answers quickly without reading everything. This will reduce your panic during the actual test. Also, improve your vocabulary a little bit every day. You don't need to become a human dictionary, but learning common academic words can be very helpful. Read English articles on topics that often appear in IELTS, like the environment, technology, and education. This will make you more familiar with the language and topics. Finally, I want to leave you with a message of encouragement. The IELTS reading test is a challenge, but it is a challenge you can overcome. You have the potential to achieve a great score. Do not be discouraged by difficult passages or low scores in your practice tests. Every mistake is a learning opportunity. Believe in yourself, trust the process, and practice your skimming and scanning skills relentlessly. With hard work and the right strategy, you can walk into that exam room with confidence and achieve the band score you dream of. Good luck with your preparation.